What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. We got Keith Lee finally came out and talked about his absence of where he's been at most of the year. And Keith Lee explained, did you see the YouTube video?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. I saw it yesterday while I was door dashing. So he came out and said that he had a match. Well, first of all, he caught COVID back in January. He was gone for about 3 weeks. He came back and had a match against Riddle in February, but then got called the next day and said that there was something was off in his blood. So I give the medical staff credit for that. And he said it was like an inflammation in the heart or lungs, and it was his heart. It was very scary, and he was forbidden to do any kind of training or any activity outside of a light walk. If he did anything past that, he would have died. That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Then assholes online wanted to make it seem like Mia Yim gave him COVID because she's part Asian. And we gotta stop the Asian hate too. So he said, no, actually, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't probably be here right now. She helped me get through this, and she sacrificed her spot to be in the Royal Rumble and to take care of him. Yo, our woman be down for us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And she then after taking care of Kim, she caught COVID. I'm not going to sit here and talk about speculation, and it's nobody's fault. But when he had that match with Drew McIntyre, that's when I thought he caught COVID. Because remember, right after that match, Drew was diagnosed with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And he had that match with Drew McIntyre. Next thing you know, Keith Lee disappears for 3 weeks. And I'm like, I think he got it from Drew. And it ain't Drew's fault, because it's WWE's fault for how their COVID protocols were back then. I mean, now everybody getting tested daily and shit, but back then they weren't. They were getting temperature checks. And they weren't wearing masks or nothing. So he said that they had to do MRIs and they had to keep doing all this stuff with his heart, and it was very, very scary. And he said it was a case of 3 or 4 months that he was in a fight against death. And the way he's making it sound like we were that close to losing Keith Lee.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you though. When he said fight against death, the first thing I thought about is, Vince gonna make that into a character.
Yeah, or kind of like how Matt Hardy did Stronger Than Death.
Yeah, Stronger Than Death. Yeah.
Yeah, type stuff like that. It said, he said, very fortunately, even though it took a long time, we waited the amount of time for that allowed to the inflammation in the heart to eventually go down to normal. So even though the first time was bad, the second one was worse. Over time, things got better, and here and there. That's some scary stuff. I was like, yo, man, what's up with Keith Lee? What's up with Keith Lee? I was very scared for him. And he is a big guy. He's an athletic guy, but he's a big guy. And COVID affects everybody else differently. Doesn't matter how much of an athlete you are, this shit will take you down. And I'm speaking from experience of somebody who had one of the worst cases of it. Me and my father. So he didn't even know that he was going to show up in Dallas in time to face Bobby Lashley in that matchup. But I don't like the way Keith Lee's being booked, but it looks like they are trying him out to see what he can handle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like. Like I said, I don't like the way he's been booked. But
all I'm saying is, your first match back probably shouldn't have been against the guy that throws people around for a living. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I agree.
Could have been against somebody that you barely gonna take a bump against, not somebody that you gotta constantly bump for.
Exactly. That's why.
But hey,
me personally, I would have brought. Well, see, I didn't even want to do the whole Keith Lee thing as a surprise because you didn't want to just bring him back on main event. But still, I don't think it was Bobby Lashley. But you know, they just try to make a big time moment. But he's had that match. He had 2 matches against Karrion Kross so far. He's looking like they're trying to get him back in the ring shape, and they're trying to get him back to be the Keith Lee and still monitor his heart before putting any kind of big plans on him. Because I can agree with this. You don't want to make big plans with this guy and then he gets sick again. Or something happens with his heart again. Because you have to be careful when you're dealing with the heart, especially when you're an athlete. It's like the basketball players. That's why Chris Bosh had to retire early. When you got these problems with your heart, and look, you see what happened to Hank Gathers. Did you see that?
I know LaMarcus Aldridge had to retire, but he's considering coming back.
Yeah, I heard about that. So you got to be careful with that. But you know the story of Hank Gathers, right? From 30 for 30? The Guru of Go?
30 for 30.
Yeah, the Guru of Go, how he died on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, yo, you don't mess with that heart, man. Especially when you're an athlete and your heart has to be racing. And especially being a wrestler where you're taking a lot of contact and stuff like that, you got to make sure that you are in tip-top shape. So, I mean, honestly, I think we're going to be seeing Keith Lee in these kind of matches for the next month or so. And then they probably see if he's really in a good enough condition that they could trust him and push him. And then I think that he'll probably get a big push going up into WrestleMania next year. But in the meantime, we got to make sure Keith Lee is healthy. That's why I think that's number one priority. I'm glad he came out and said something. It sucks about the Royal Rumble for me and him. It sucks about COVID because I do believe COVID, strung this along. And we still don't. It's not that we don't know about the long-term effects about COVID. Like my wife, even though she's vaccinated, is still having issues. So we just necessarily just don't know. So you really gotta keep an eye on it. It's not one of the things like, oh, you're better. Let's go have a 30-minute match with Goldberg. Well, it ain't gonna be 30 minutes, but I'm saying let's go have a match with Goldberg, knowing that he could be unsafe at times.
2 minutes at the most.
But I'd rather have a 30-minute safe match with Sheamus than have a 2 to 3 minute unsafe match with Goldberg.
Right.
Especially with the condition that I'm in. So I think that they're going to put him in with people that he's comfortable with, that he has faced before. Like, I won't be surprised if he does a Drew McIntyre match soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because him and Drew McIntyre are friends. I can see them like Drew will take care of him in the ring type thing.
Ricochet.
Or Ricochet. Oh, that'd be dope though, because that match he had back in was it PWG.
Mm-hmm.
Was dope. Like people like that know Keith Lee, I think that'd be good. And also, I would like to see. Hopefully, this helps me and him come back. So, it's great. It's great to hear from Keith Lee. I was worried. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was worried about that. So, anything you want to add about the Keith Lee?
I'm just glad he's healthy, and hopefully they can build him up for next year's Mania or whatever.
Yeah, I can see him in a championship picture. Just like I can see Big E in a championship picture. So who knows?
Yeah,
you said what?
I was gonna say, can we just please take this singlet off of him and get him the regular shorts?
Oh yes, cool. I agree. It makes him look so much bigger with that singlet on. It looks terrible. Trust me, I know Triple H is probably thinking like, yo, take this shit off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H had Keith Lee done right.
To the fact that he was a double champ.
Keith Lee is like Black Vader. Yeah, he got a gut, but I'm just saying, but Keith Lee is an athletic dude. He can moonsault. He can dive over the rope. Like, there's a lot of things Keith Lee can do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's like dumb spin kicks he can do. He can roll. He can juggle. He can launch himself over the top rope. Like he can do that. He has gotten a little bit heavier since his PWG days. I will say that. But maybe because they ain't got him doing nothing.
Especially since he can only do a light job. Of course, he has gotten it.
Yeah. Is access, so he needs to get back in the ring shape and try and do the workout and see how he can last on that one.